Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bad for Baseball, the baddest baseball podcast on the internet, presented to you by Betway. We're continuing our team profile and projections. Number 29 is the Colorado Rockies. They, I've got to say, are one of the worst-run organizations in all of baseball. There are a lot of bad organizations in baseball. Colorado Rockies would be my top three, if not number one. They don't really do a whole lot, and it feels like they're content with just being idle and bad. Let me throw it over to you, Nick. When you hear Colorado Rockies, what do you think?
It's terrible. It is genuinely the worst, man. Like, you look at the Colorado Rockies and, like, I get images of, like, peeing the bed and, like, you know, like, shitting on stage,
yourself.
you know, like,
Yeah.
in public, like throwing up all, like, being on a first date and just, like, throwing up on her. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good. It's
embarrassing.
Really, it's exactly, yes,
Yeah.
Embarrassing, ashamed, you know, like, all of those things. That is the feelings that I get when I think about these Colorado Rockies.
Great ballpark, though. Great ballpark.
Yeah, actually. No, seriously. I mean, great
I love the
ballpark. And like the scenic views, the mountains in it, very, very cool. The people that play there, horrendous. This Colorado Rockies team is a very forgettable one. How many games did they win last year?
They won 61 games last year, and they're the second worst team in baseball. So when you compare them to what we just did, the Chicago White Sox, they're 20 games better.
Yeah, so they are significantly better than the White Sox, and I will say that I do think they are going to win more games than the White Sox this year.
Yeah.
So that's something, but not a whole lot more.
We're already going to see when we go through their lineups and everything that, like, they actually have guys here that I am kind of excited about. But before we do, let's get into what happened this offseason. And like I'm going to allude to here, not a lot happened. They lost Cal Quantrill, non-tendered. Brandon Rogers, second baseman, he was a guy. They lost him. Daniel Bard, he's been there for quite a long time. They lost him. He's a free agent. Charlie Blackmon, that's another guy who's been there his entire career.
Yeah, dude.
He's gone. He's a free agent.
They're ever going to retire a Colorado Rockies number? It might be Blackmon, man. Like,
absolutely. And then they also, they outrighted to minors Jake Cave, Dakota Hudson, and Peter Lambert. That's really all they did losing-wise. They added a free agent, Thairo Estrada, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Great.
He's their new second baseman, replacing Rogers. Kyle Farmer from the Twins. I actually kind of like that guy because he's had some up and down years off the bench. He wasn't so good last year. And that's it. That's the Rockies offseason in a nutshell. Not a whole lot going out, not a whole lot going in. Are you surprised? I'm not, because the management, again, they're not willing to do anything special here.
Yeah, man. This is a team that has a bad rap, seriously, right? Like, it's a squad that if you are a free agent, last resort. Like, last resort. You know, you just don't want to go there. I still remember years prior, when it was the Arenado and Story, when they actually had players that you could get behind and be like, oh, shit, that lineup is good. Yeah. You know, the star players did not want to play there because the management just, like, didn't respect them, didn't deal with this team.
Didn't do anything to help the team win.
No, man, and that's still the case. So not only are they, this team would be fighting an uphill battle, even if they were in on free agents, because they got to convince them to come here and play with these guys, but they're not even in the free agents to begin with, right? Yeah. So, again, the whole offseason was a typical one for Colorado Rockies. You probably lost a little bit more than you gained, actually, but that's not saying a whole lot, because ultimately the guys that you lost, they weren't crazy game changers either.
Like maybe it's Canadian in me, but I did like Cal Quantrill as like a guy in the rotation, and he's a somebody, right? And the thing about the Rockies, they have that rep of, well, pitchers go to die here because of Rockies Stadium. Yes, the outfield fences are larger, but balls move faster, balls travel further. And I mean, when was the last time you saw them sign a legit starting pitcher or bullpen guy?
Great question.
Never.
Don't know.
My entire time watching baseball, I've never seen them sign anybody.
Well, let's start with the pitching. Usually we'll start with the lineups and stuff, but you know what? If you're a Colorado Rockies fan, if you are out there and you happen to be watching this video, let's start with the bad, and then we'll get to the good.
We've been crapping all over you. Let's get the crap out of the way.
Let's get the crap out of the way, right? So that rotation, it is very, very bad, guys. Last year, in terms of just ERA as a whole on the season, Colorado, was 30th. By a wide margin. Team ERA, they had a 5.47. To put that in perspective, the 29th ranked team in all of baseball was the Miami Marlins with a 4.73 ERA. So Colorado was almost giving up one more run than every other team.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane, dude.
And you might say that it's the Coors effect. It's the Coors effect, right? No, it's actually not. So their away team ERA is 5.48. It's
like right
actually
on
a
the
little
dot.
bit worse.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, so like and that's what my ignorance came into. I was like, oh, it's definitely the Coors effect, because years past, yes, it has been. Not this year. They were just that bad.
They were just that bad, dude. And when you listen to these names, I mean, there's not a whole lot of guys that you can get behind. You know, Herman Marquez, still there, still kicking it.
He was hurt last year.
Fun guy for fantasy.
Yeah.
Will get you some strikeouts. Can't actually really pitch that well when it comes to winning ball games.
Yeah, well, last year he was hurt, and the year before he was hurt, he's only pitched a combined 24 innings in the last 2 years.
And he's their ace.
And he's their ace, right?
Holy shit.
In the years prior, I mean, his entire career with the Rockies, he's had a 4.42 ERA. For a Rockies standpoint,
I guess that's okay, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But, yeah, what are you going to get from him? I don't know. Like,
not a whole lot.
I'm not too sure what his injury status is here, but he's been hurt. And then you got Ryan Feltner. Freeland, Simpson. I don't even say that name.
Senzatella.
And then Austin Goomber. Everybody here had an ERA over 4.49.
Yeah.
5.24, 6.57, and 4.75. It's going to continue to be bad. And I don't see really any of their top they have one top prospect in ranked 25 in all of baseball who is a right-handed pitcher projected to come up this year, but are you going to be relying on a 23-year-old to change that rotation? No.
Yeah, that's just too much to ask out of anybody, a young kid especially, right? Mm-hmm. Coming into a team like this, no. Now, it gets even worse when you look over at that bullpen, and this really blew me away, guys. Like, this blew me away. Tyler Kinley right now is listed as the closer on Fangraphs. Tyler Kinley, the closer. Now, last year, he pitched 64 innings. That's a lot for a bullpen guy. That's right up there.
A healthy season, right?
Healthy season, right? 64 innings. He had 12 saves, so he was put into that reliever role at least at some point. I don't know if he started the year. Closer, that's right. Not sure if he started the year as the closer, but at the very least was in that role for a time. Their closer had an ERA of 6.19, a whip of 1.469, and a WAR of -0.3. And you know what the craziest thing about all this is, too? He somehow had a win-loss record of 6-1.
That's wild.
I don't know. I don't even know how the fuck that happens.
Even happened.
How does that even happen?
A lot of ninth inning comebacks, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Even though this guy was legit, like quite literally the worst closer I have ever seen in my life, somehow they won a couple games with him out there. That's not going to continue, though, man. No. That's not going to continue. This is, like, I'm not even exaggerating. This is the worst closer I've ever seen.
Oh, 100%. And I don't think he's going to be closer for quite often. They have him here as a closer on Fangraphs, but, like, I mean, anyone with a brain can look at this and go, that ain't going to work, I mean, hell, I like the guys behind him. They're young. You got a 25-year-old and a 24-year-old. You got Seth Halvorsen, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and Luis Peralta. They are in their organization this incoming year, in 25, ranked 13 and 11. That's pretty good. And last year, in the limited games, they only had 12. Actually, literally had 12 and 1/3 innings pitched each. They had a 146 and a 0.73. I think you get off to a good start with those guys. Boom, immediate promotion. One of these to closer, and one of these setup man, because that's literally the brightest spots they have in that pen.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? You got prospects there, and you're just hoping that like they're gonna turn into somebody's, because the established guys here, I mean, like they're not good, right? You ever heard of Lucas Gilbreth?
That name,
yeah, me too, dude. I just singled him out because like Lucas Gilbreth. Well, last year he pitched 1 inning, had a 54 ERA. So obviously 1 inning, like clearly he sucked. But that's Lucas Gilbreth. He's in that rotation. He's gonna get work because that's where they're at. This was the worst bullpen in all of baseball by a wide margin. Similarly with their rotation, the pitching is horrendous, and arguments can be made that it is worse than it was last year.
Yeah, it absolutely, and so it's going to continue to be bad. I really don't see. Again, only bright spots are those two bullpen guys. Like maybe for their sake, you get a Mason Miller in there. Now I'm not too familiar with these guys' game. You get some sort of breakout establishment. All right, sick. We can kind of build off of this one guy here, but their bread and butter, and it's always been this for the last few years. How they win their games has to be through the lineup.
We got to out-hit you.
And the lineup's actually decent. I think you said they were 15th in baseball in terms of
OPS, they were 15th in baseball last year. Looking at a couple key statistics right here. I want to see their home runs.
I think they were 15th in home runs.
Okay, 15. See, very mid. That's the thing. It was a mid offense, and a mid offense, like 15's not good. It's not gonna end up bringing you the playoffs or anything. But they shouldn't be this low. It's just the problem is, right, like you pair the 15th ranked offense with the worst pitching by an additional run, like a wide margin compared to everybody else, and you do end up with one of the worst teams in all of baseball. Because ultimately this offense is fine, but it's not clutch.
Yeah, and I think they were missing a few key people, and we're going to get into them right now. They had Brenton Doyle right now. This is Fangraphs. He's leading off center field. Just an average bat. Weighted runs created plus is about 97. WAR of 3.7. So he's their center fielder. Got some good defense, it looks like, right there. He's right there, center field. Ezequiel Tovar had a little breakout for them last year. We got 3.7 WAR. The bat was average, a little bit below average, but again, great defensively. He's actually one of the better defenders of baseball. His range outs above average is 98th percentile. So again, defense, I guess that's going to try and help your starting pitching.
Maybe.
There's some guys. Ryan McMahon, we know, is a pretty good guy.
I like McMahon. Yeah,
he had a down year last year, and that's actually a factor into this whole thing. Like, he had a down year. He had a 722 OPS. Where's Chris Bryant? They haven't projected fourth. That's a huge piece.
Dude, I'm looking at Chris Bryant right now. We were getting on Anthony Rendon as being like worst contract in all of baseball, and I do still think Rendon a bit above Bryant in terms of just how terrible the contract is. But this one is up there as one of the worst contracts in the entire MLB. Right,
100%.
Since he's been with Colorado for 3 years. In that time frame, it was 42 games, then 80 games, then 37 games. He's not playing, and when he is playing, it's good. Really, really bad. Probably because he is fighting through whatever injuries he's dealing with that year. I have no idea what you can project for Chris Bryant at this point.
No.
I don't know if I can tell you that Chris Bryant is going to be a good player anymore, which is too bad because when he was with Chicago, he was one of the most exciting players in the league.
He won MVP.
He did.
Yeah, he
did. Dude, his years. So look, his years in Chicago. He had an 886 OPS. Primarily, right? 886 OPS.
He's on pace to be a Hall of Famer,
So and he finished that time with Chicago with a 27.7 WAR.
Wow.
That was over 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now he's got a 27.5 WAR. he has lost WAR in 3 years.
Insane.
It's not good.
And what's sad is you're hoping for the bounce back, but he's 33 now. How does your body bounce back at 33 with all those injuries the last 3 years?
Exactly.
So really, you can't really project too much. They have him as a DH, probably good because he's just, I don't know what he's doing on the field with that body. And then moving on, you got Michael Toglia. I think he was okay. Like another average bat, like 767 OPS last year. Weighted runs created plus of 98. Again, another average bat. Nolan Jones is another guy I want to bring out right here because he had a big step back last year.
Bad.
The prior year in 2023, he was Rookie of the Year 4. He had an OPS of 931. This was the guy that was like, holy shit, this is what the Rockies do.
He won people fantasy leagues.
He won fantasy leagues. A batting average of 297. Not so big on the home runs, but he was there in a WAR of 4.3. That's a legit dude. He got hurt last year. Only played 79 games. What are you going to get from him? Now, granted, he is a bit younger. He'll be 27 this year. But that's what you're hoping. Like maybe the youth will kind of help him bounce back, get into shape, get into form, because they need him. If their offense wants to bang and they want to win games, they need Nolan Jones.
Yeah, 100%. That's got to be a bounce back. Now, in their 8 and their 9 spot, they're projecting Sam Hilliard and Jacob Stallings, who actually both of them played pretty good ball last year. They both had OPSs over 800. Keep in mind, though, smaller sample size. Jacob played 82 games. Sam played 58. So is that going to continue? I don't know. Both of them are like up there in age. Yeah. Like Jacob Stallings is 35.
Yeah, and he's a catcher. Like
exactly.
He's gonna play half the games.
Sam is 31. So I don't think you can really be projecting all of that from them moving forward. Look,
and then they have Theo Estrada in the 7 hole.
That guy. Yeah.
That's a guy they signed from San Fran, but again, like he didn't really do much last year. I mean, he had 381 at-bats and a 590 OPS.
Look, we said that we were going to go from the crap to the good. We really should have said that we're going to go from the crap to the, slightly below average. Because ultimately, like, this lineup to me,
it's average.
It's and maybe below.
Could
it could be.
Yeah, I think if they get, I'm assuming because Nolan Jones' age, and if he bounced back from injury, and how good he was that one prior year, 2023, if you can get even half of between what you did and what you did in 2023, that's good. That's your best player on the offense by far. If you can get that guy, that's an average lineup, and I'm not disgusted by this lineup.
I get that.
It.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not disgusted either because I can get behind the top three in Brenton Doyle, Tovar, McMahon. Yeah. I can actually get behind that, right?
Yeah. Throw Nolan Jones up there if he's good.
Sure.
Boom.
Yeah, because Tovar and Doyle both had decent years last year. They were solid, right? And McMahon, we know that he can bounce back. Yep. Chris Bryant, I got to be out on it right now until proven otherwise. I hope that he bounces back for the Rockies' sake. Right. I don't know if I can project it, but yeah, if you do get Nolan Jones playing good ball, that will change things.
No.
Ultimately, the question is, will it matter? Their win-loss or total, or projected total, their line, as I should say, according to Betway, is at 59.5. Last year, they won 61 games. So had that line been there last year, they would have hit the over. They've lowered it a little bit at 59.5. Colorado Rockies and this is, I want to put this out there too, in a tough division.
Yeah, that's right.
They are going to be the underdogs in every significant underdogs in every single matchup. The Giants are way better. The Diamondbacks, everyone is way better than these Colorado Rockies. 59.5 wins, worst pitching staff in baseball. Could be an okay lineup. Where you at?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I projected them actually under that line. A few literally last week on a short. But going through it and actually doing my research, I'm I could actually convince myself that they get around the same as they did last year, 61. But then again, I was considering them getting beat the hell down by their entire division. I think everybody in that division in the NL West is going to beat them the hell down. The pitching staff, I think, got worse. The roster's about the same. You're hoping for bounce backs. So I'll stick to my word, and I'll say under on the 59.5. It's not a large under. I think I gave them 57 wins.
Right.
I'll go slight under on the line there.
So every team, correct me if I'm wrong, every team plays every team in their division 13 times.
That's right.
Right, okay. So with there being 4 teams, that they got to play 13 times, that would mean 52 games in their division. I could genuinely see the Colorado Rockies winning 10 to 15 of those, total, right?
That's it.
I really do think that they are going to get shit kicked in their division.
And actually, I was going to say this. We should consider them trading at the deadline, too. They won't, actually. They won't. They never do.
Yes. They'll be talked about, and then it probably won't actually come to fruition. I went under on the White Sox. I'm going under again. Under on Colorado Rockies. They're just, listen, man, they're really bad, and that pitching staff is just... Now, same argument to the White Sox that we had in the previous thing. How can the pitching staff be worse than that? Right. And with a pitching staff like that, they did still win 61. So, but I don't know, man. They're just so bad.
I know.
Their closer's got a 6 ERA.
Again, they need Seth Harloverson to bounce back, or not bounce back, just become a dude. Become Mason Miller of the Rockies.
I am just not going to trust anyone whose name is Lucas Gilbreth. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Under on 59.5 wins, everybody, for the Colorado Rockies.
There you go. So download the Betway app if you want to go bet on that line, guys. That's our profile and projection for the Colorado Rockies. You let us know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to stay up to date on all the latest profiles and projections.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We will catch you in the next one.
Cheers.